Hello there and welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place that we talk all things life transformations, going on this journey of our own personal glow up, but doing it as a community and having these warriors, these people who are, at different stages of their own glow up journey, be a part of it to either inspire us, motivate us, or perhaps we are someone's inspiration or motivation. Can you imagine that? Hi, my name is Natasha, and I am so blessed, so honored, and lucky to be your host today. I'm coming to you, and some days I'm like, I'm so excited to be here. And I really am. Like, I'm not lying in the fact that I'm excited to sit in this chair and spill the tea on my life and, share some nuggets of, lessons and tools, and also kind of process the experiences myself. Because sometimes, like I say, you've seen on here, I'm like, I have these whole life epiphanies. And today's been one of those days. Like, it was sunny and gloomy, and it was just kind of like a mixed pot of a day. Like, even my son looked out the window and was like, it's so strange to me that it's sunny and rainy at the same time. I'm like, but that means there's a rainbow somewhere out there, right? So, sometimes two things can be true, right? It can be sunny and it can be rainy, and, can be confusing, and yet there could be still something really beautiful. I feel annoyed for my son who, he's the last one to get this like respiratory illness that like everybody and their mother is getting, and it's lingering on. And this weekend is his biggest competition of the year. Like, this is it. He's in third place currently, and only the top two get World Cup spots. Like, there is no margin for error here. And he's not feeling 100%. And I get how that can be really, really taxing. Like, you're constantly coughing, you're struggling to, breathe, you're using inhalers, you're drinking, you're doing, and I'm throwing everything at him because I just want to fix the problem, right? I'm a people solver, I'm a problem fixer. And I want to fix this for him, and I can't, right? You can't speed up the timeline of an illness, by doing anything more than the humidifying, everything that you're possibly doing is it, like I'm possibly doing and he's possibly doing, we're doing it. Like, there's nothing more that can be done. And now you got to just let it out in the universe. And there's so many things that like I feel as of recently, I'm like, I'm just gonna let it out in the universe. Like it's gonna work out, it's gonna work out, it's gonna work out. Like, I'm gonna do everything I can in my control to make sure it works out. And then something doesn't work out, right? Like, my car had problems and I had to spend $4,000 on a car that's not even worth it. And, not even worth $4,000. And then suddenly, I'm doing something nice and I'm going to hit somebody, and I freaking hit a pothole, and now I'm dropping more money on my car, and, my battery dies. There you go. There's some more money on the car. My daughter's frustrated at my life decisions and the way, not only that, the way in which I communicate to her my life decisions, and that leaves this like dark overshadowed thing in my heart. Like, I'm pretty confident in what I'm doing with Chris, but that doesn't negate the fact that we're spending thousands and thousands of dollars maintaining two different households at this time. And it makes for confusion, and it makes me feel like I'm torn. Like, there's parts that I'm really glad to be there and have this shift of perspective, this idea of what things will be like when it is just him and I, or just myself on my own, or just me and somebody else if it isn't Chris. Like, I really hope and believe it will be meet Chris and I. But, again, we still live in two different households. Like, we've had a great few months, but is this a honeymoon period? Is this sustainable? Like, I know how we were for like, my perspective was, 10% of the time was good. The other 90 wasn't. And so I have to be really realistic, but I'm also have to be of the understanding that I don't want to dredge up. It's not that I'm in denial about it. It's just, how can I continue to punish a version of Chris that he isn't showing up to me as? I don't want to be punished for the Natasha I was. I want to be rewarded and celebrated for the Natasha I am, because the Natasha I am today takes a lot of work. And I realize I make mistakes. I raise my voice, I get mad, I get upset, those things still happen. I'm still a human. Like, I'm still me, but I'm learning how to catch it. I'm having the awareness. I understand I don't want to be that person. And so, it's a real process and experiment and project, and I'm doing really well at most times. And right now, like I say, like, I'm excited to sit in this chair. I'm not excited about some of the circumstances that happened today. I got a notice today saying my rent was increased by $300 a month. $300 a month because they did some construction. I've lived here for over 20 years. The bathrooms were from the 70s and they were molding. Literally, we were living with mold and fungus, and they let us live like that since September. They just let it ride. And then once they fixed it, now they're going to raise my rent. And I get it. Like, somebody's got to pay for those things. But it's just frustrating, right? Like, it's just frustrating. And then, I get excited because like an hour later I get a call and it's from the lender, and I'm trying to get this loan because I'm trying to, like, this is my Hail Mary. This is my one last shot. I got everything writing on this, and I can tell in his voice, it's not good news. It's not necessarily bad news. It's not the end. It's just not good news. So my loan is currently suspended. My loan application, I'm not saying even my loan application is currently suspended. I have 3 items that need to get taken care of pronto, and the sooner I can get them done, the better. 2 of them I don't think are going to be, one of them is very easy. One of them could be a maybe possibility of being a little bit tricky, but the other item, well, it has to do with finances. And I've had to liquidate every piece of my finance to sustain this household, not only for this last year in which, I was continually giving money where I don't know where Chris was putting the money, to be honest. I mean, I think he was just putting it into us, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe, I don't know where it went. But I was contributing, and now I'm contributing to multiple households. And I'm all by myself, and I have no help. And it's like financial help, right? I mean, I do get $1,000 a month, like for Tyler or whatever. So not that I don't get any month help, but it's not, that money doesn't necessarily go to me. That's for Tyler. It's not spousal support. It's not child support for the other kids. My other kids aren't contributing, and I'm a little bit getting exhausted. I'm a little bit tired because there's only so much. And so what would have not been a problem 5 months ago, if I would have just had my shit in gear, to be honest with myself, like, I can't be mad at Chris. I'm disappointed in myself, in a sense. Like, I'm disappointed that it's taken me this long to get going. And now that there's this light at the end of the tunnel, there's like a curtain that's been drawn in front of it, and I have to figure out how to get enough money to show my reserves, to show that if I default, that there's something, like for 6 months that I can, afford the payments. So I'm frustrated. I'm really frustrated. I'm really annoyed. I'm really disappointed, on a few things. I get a message from Chris. He so kindly was like, okay, let me pay for your tire. You were going to help me. And I feel bad. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that, And this is before I find out everything. And he like sends his PG&E bill, is his electricity bill, if you don't do PG&E, is like $600 almost. And that's like what I'm paying here. And I was like, my God, between the 2 of our households, literally we could be living in a mansion, And so on the same turn, I don't want finances to be a motivating factor in rushing a decision. My kids are already involved. They know and they see us, and I'm sure it's really confusing for them, because sometimes it's confusing for us. I mean, most times, like, I'm coming to the point where I'm not confused. I'm really just being honest about my experience. But that doesn't mean that sometimes I'm thinking, like, what's kind of going on? Like, what will happen, if other things. And I try to think, like, I can't think like that because I don't know what version, I'm going to grow. Hopefully he'll grow between now and whatever that situation comes up, if it doesn't happen. So, sometimes when things snowball, when a lot of things happen, I start to feel overwhelmed. Like today, I literally just want to eat. I want to lay in bed, look outside the window, actually really cool clouds. I want to look at the tree that's blooming everywhere and causing petals. I want to lay in bed and do absolutely nothing. Like, I just want to do absolutely, I want to escape from my current reality. And the truth of the matter is, I just ate a ton of toffee because I love my toffee. I just ate a ton of pasta. I just ate a ton of chips and dip. I ate a ton of, I don't know what else I ate. Some oranges. Like, I really should go dance tonight. Not only for the physical, but I feel like for the emotional, for the release, for the hour of not thinking about whatever is happening. And I know in my bed I can throw on a Netflix or something like that and also do that. And this kind of weekend will kind of be favorable for it because it's not supposed to be great weather. There's a Super Bowl. So that, you know, tomorrow I really like have it on my mind. I need to go do some mowing, and I really just want to get it off my mental to-do list. The ground is soft, and I did a bunch of it yesterday, a bunch of weeding and things like that. And it feels nice to know that when it's ready to have, you know, somebody come out and look at it, it's all ready. So, you know, I'm disappointed. You know, it's tough news. And the question is, what do we do now, right? Like, we all get tough news. We all have tough situations. We all have scenarios where we don't have the result we wanted. No matter how hard we work, no matter how much we thought we checked each box, you know, sometimes we take 2 steps forward and we take 2 steps back or 3 steps back, you know, it happens. Or we take 1 step back, but we're still forward. So it's still not a no, which is a great news as first person like me who does not like taking no for an answer. You know, for my rent, all I can do is be honest and plead. And if they, you know, be so kind to, you know, only increase it by $100 or $200 versus $300 a month, then great. If not, I know that possibly this is one of my last lease extensions I sign. You know, I really wanted to stay in this house until Tyler graduates. That is the goal. It may cost me a lot of money in order to accommodate that for him. But the idea of right now, repacking everything, moving out, doing all this on my own, it just does not sound like it's in my wheelhouse of what I want to do. That gives me another year to be really motivated and really focused on what it is my goals are, and see that here is your, you know, end game here in this house, which is so bittersweet, right? Because this isn't my home, but it feels like it's my home. It's been my home. I've brought 2 babies home from the hospital. You know, I have had some of the best days of my life here, and I've also experienced many of the worst. I have, you know, we were in here during a pandemic, and there's so many memories written within these walls, but these walls don't define who the Russos are. These walls are a home, and it was a good home, as good as a home could be for us. And maybe I made the wrong choice when I signed the lease so many years ago, and maybe I made the right choice. I am so blessed by the friends that my kids have and the education that they've received and the community that they live in. I too am so blessed by the community that has embraced me and that I have embraced as well. I have friends here. I have, you know, a familiarity here. I had consistency here. I had comfort here. But like I say, you know, a lot of times in order for us to grow, we need to get out of our comfort zone. When I go to Chris's house, I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm living out of a bag, and sometimes I don't have all my belongings. And well, I obviously don't, but I'm learning how to make amends with what I have. Like, sometimes I don't have my electric toothbrush. I have to use a manual one. Or sometimes I don't have, you know, the robe I want, or, you know, the socks I want. Excuse me, or the color tank top I want. But I have to make do with what I can fit in a bag because I'm making that choice. I want to spend that time with him, and I want to see how our relationship can evolve. I have exciting news. My son, you know, I never allowed these youngins to have, you know, relationships with anybody. My daughter did. With and without my consent, at times. And, you know, but it was like, fine, whatever you can do at school, but you're not going anywhere, and you're busy with cheer and all these things. So there was some sort of kind of fine, you know, like, here are the rules. And you know, they would go on a date, I was there with them. They would go bowling, my husband was with them, you know, or go to a movie, dad and the siblings are there, you know, like, so it was very overprotective in a sense. And so when my son asked to have a girlfriend, which he didn't really ask, he more or less told me. It was at the time of which, Chris and I were no longer together. And I quite honestly could not imagine breaking his soul and heart another way. And the girl didn't even live in the same state. But, he did ask and she did ask, can she come visit? Spoke with the dad for a long time. So they're coming to visit. And now the time has come. So it's going to be a week visit here in California. And I'm excited to meet her. She's such a sweet young girl. Like, I've talked to her many times on FaceTime. And so I'm really, really glad that they have one another, especially during such what was like a chaotic and crisis kind of time of life. And so I know things are really abnormal for him still, right? Like, sometimes mom's here, sometimes mom's not. And sometimes dad's here and mom's here. And, so it's a real difference. There's hostility in the house because my daughter doesn't want her dad to be here. And if he's here, then she's leaving. And I know she sees it from her perspective, as she should. But sometimes I think she fails to see the effects of it on everybody, and not that should deter her or force her to have a relationship with him. Not at all. She should honor herself and honor her boundaries, but that doesn't mean it doesn't affect the rest of us. And it allows me to see how I treated him just as much as how he treated me does impact the people in your locale, in your environment. So it's easy to go about our experiences sometimes and just see how we see it, right? We've talked about that a lot on here, shifting the perspective where we can put ourselves in somebody else's shoes, which allows us to see their experience somewhat so. We can never really fully understand somebody's experience, but it does allow the space for compassion and understanding and an open heart and mind. And so it's been very eye-opening to that, and to hear how the boys will come and, voice their concerns to me, which makes me question and wonder, were these some of the conversations and things that they had amongst themselves that obviously I was not privy to, and perhaps in regards to, my relationship with Chris while he was still here, and perhaps even now. So they seem very in support of it, like, it is what it is. I do check in with them a lot. Yesterday was the first time Chris and I hadn't, shared the same bed or, went to sleep at the same time. In a really long time. Like, I don't even remember I do remember it was like a Friday night. I was exhausted. I was talking with the kids and I was like, I just can't drive over there right now. I'm tired. And so kind of how it was last night, like, we went to a soccer game together. We had spent a lot of the day together because my tire came in. We went to Costco. We ate together. We went to the soccer game together. He had a meeting early in the morning, so I would have needed to take my car. And once I got in, I kind of laid on my bed and I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so cozy and warm in here. Like, the idea of getting out and packing my stuff and going someplace just to get up at 6 a.m. just did not sound good. And then the next thing you knew, one son wanted to talk. And while I was talking to one son, another one sends me a text, hey mom, where are you? Like, I'm like, oh, I'm in my room. Okay, well, I'm talking with Tyler. What are you doing in there? I'm talking to Tyler. Okay, when you're done, can we talk? So it was like my kids kind of really wanted and needed me. And so, not that I didn't think that Chris wanted or needed me, but I also knew he was working. He was, getting up early in the morning, was probably tired himself because I was feeling tired. And, I also had laid it out there and said, hey, you're always welcome to come back here, grab your stuff and come back here. He's like, I don't really like your bed. Your bed's way too soft. It's not comfortable. And I'll agree because I don't like my bed either. And, I was like, well, now we're in a position where it's like, well, I don't want to go buy a new bed because if we're together, then we'll just use his new bed. Like, but if we're not, I'm kind of torturing myself over here. And, oh yeah, by the way, I don't have enough money. I have to pay for $3,600.50, $3,650 a month for rent alone. That doesn't include insurance, PG&E, electricity, all the other garbage, all the other cable, internet, all the other things that go along with it. So I say all this, all of this to say is, yeah, lives. Like, it doesn't matter what your headspace is or where you are. things will happen, and some things will be great and you're going to be really excited and happy that they happened. And other things are going to be a little bit of a letdown, a challenge, a blow. Like, we were talking about it, when it rains, it pours sometimes. And the true test, the true glow up, the true evolution and growth comes in, what do you do now? How do you respond? Do you lay in bed and say, I'm not going to the gym? Do you take out your disbelief and upset and frustration on other people? Do you internalize it? Do you pretend it's not happening? Like, what is it that works best for you? Well, for me, I need to process it. I need to say, okay, here's what's happening. How do I want to respond? What is my plan of action based on these circumstances? What is it I need to do? And I need to act on it. I need to figure it out. And then I need to make progress on moving towards whatever my plan is. And then I also need to allow things to upset me, but not let them define me. I'm not a victim of it. I don't choose to lay in bed and sulk for the rest of the day. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to the gym. I feel really full because I drank way too much milk. I am realizing with all this, this strife going on, I'm really leaning on food and, the fact that it's cold. I want to be a little bit on the lazy side. I'm having fun with Chris, which means we're going out, which means we're often eating out, which is new and exciting too, because, hey, I'm a foodie. I like to eat. And so I am really learning how to manage and move in this new dynamic I'm in. And so last night was really telling because, I was able to go to sleep by myself. I was having troubles when I wasn't sleeping with him, but I was tired. And although I wanted to be with him and although he wanted to be with me, it was okay that we weren't. Of course I was sad, not sad, but I would have wanted to be with him, but I also didn't want to sacrifice my comfort and my time with my kids and being in my bed and, sleeping a little bit later and then I would have had to at his house. I didn't want to sacrifice all those things just to be with him. And sometimes I do, but yesterday I didn't. And the growth here is understanding when it is I'm willing and wanting to make those sacrifices for the relationship, for myself, for him, and when I'm doing it just because. And when you're doing it just because, that was what I used to do all the time. And as a result, it started to breed resentment because I was tired and I was frustrated. And I felt like it was well, I'm always going to your house. Even though this was never a scenario, I'm just saying I can see where this would lead into, I'm putting in so much effort. If I was the old me, but I'm not the old me. So I'm not responding that way. And he wasn't upset about the fact that I stayed home. And beyond the fact that I miss you. I like you. I really want to be around you. We still did our, tell me something nice. And he told me something nice. And, it was different. I said goodnight. He said goodnight. So, it was really difficult. And, in some ways to not, have that arm to go into. But we survived. We went on. And, I really think that, today has been a tough day. And again, we have choices and we have decisions. I can either come home, I can go to his house, he can come here, we can go someplace else. Last weekend, suddenly we were, off in Reno. So, I don't know what the weekend's going to hold for us, but I do know I need to get some work done, and that would alleviate some of my tension and frustrations, within my own self. So I really hope to get things done this weekend, and maybe that means that we're not together, or maybe that means we're together but we're working, or I don't know what it's going to look like. So what I do know is I got 2 big financial blows today, and I'm okay. I'm not in bed crying I would have in the past, and I'm not harboring on it. I'm processing it, and I'm going to get up. And for now, my dad's still paying for my gym. So I'm going to go to my gym and I'm going to be around my friends and I'm going to, it's not the class that you can just let it all out though. So I'm going to, really be introspective and, make my moves beautiful and big. And maybe I'll do a yoga afterwards where I can release some of the toxins within my body. It's like never, it's a tough one because it's like, it's hard. And so I'm not like, I don't look forward to it, but I always feel good after. So perhaps I'll do that. Perhaps I won't. And we shall see like where my weekend goes and how I respond to these big financial blows that I'm currently experiencing as, the meter is running in this household. So we shall see. And I hope that things, when they happen to you, you understand they're not happening to you. They're happening for you. All of these things, every single thing that has happened in my life, good or bad, actually the hardest things have taught me the most and have really propelled me forward. So these are tough days. These are tough challenges, but I have big goals. I have big things I want to do. And hopefully this will give me the motivation and the kick in the butt that I need to get the things that I am procrastinating on, delaying, having fear, lacking confidence. Like, it will keep me progressing in the proper direction. And so I say all this to say thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you, because maybe you didn't feel like it. Maybe you just didn't want to, and yet you did. And here you are. Or maybe you really wanted to, and you're like, hey, yeah, like I've had that happen to me where it's been a really tough day and I just, took it out on everybody else around me, or I didn't know what was happening. I ignored it. I didn't process it. So I say all this to say, you are absolutely not alone, and everything you feel, everything you're experiencing is totally okay. It's totally normal. It's totally fine. You are doing everything right. You are here, and I am so proud of you. I know it doesn't matter in the scheme of life. I'm just a cherry on top, and I love you, and I adore the fact that you are taking care of you. So I say all this to say, please, 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 please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment. But I'm also going to ask you to take a look in your mirror, take a look in your phone, somewhere, look at yourself in the eyes and give yourself a compliment. Tell yourself something nice. Give yourself a big smile because you deserve it too. And who better to give it to you? Stop sitting around and waiting for somebody to give you a smile and compliment to make you glow up. You start smiling at you. You start complimenting you. And you watch how you make you glow up. So I say thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. Mwah! Bye.